Hello, hello, I am back. I'm back. I'm back in black. Back in black. We can scratch that off. But I'm back, guys. Fucking back from my hiatus, back from the cave. I've been hiding out like Osama. Who's now dead. But anyways, I'm back, guys, and it feels good. It feels good to be turning 28. Recently, I just had a birthday, and it was. I think every birthday I have to reflect on what I did for that age, whether it's, relationship, career, um, mentally, physically. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Maybe it's just myself, but I tend to evaluate myself when every year I have a birthday, just to kind of see what achievements I did, or things that I need to work on. I would say definitely this past year, my 27 quote unquote years. Um, I just was looking at myself of how I can better myself and just what I can improve on. And I definitely this year was rough. It's been, you know, I turned my 27 during COVID, what I mean? And throughout my 27th, it was nearly the peak. And then, now turning 28, that's, slowly everything's kind of calming down. But it was just, it was pretty hard at moments, I would say, especially career wise. Like it was nuts because I had all this free time to do stuff, and I just emotionally couldn't get myself there. I couldn't convince myself to get to work because I was just so devastated, like losing my job, um, financially, what I mean, that those things definitely make an impact in your life. For sure for me, like financially it was rough at moments. I didn't know if I was gonna make rent or not. And so that reflected on me making music. There were some days, fuck, I would say some weeks or even close to months, I wasn't even touching my laptop. I just had no energy to create anything. Even with this podcast, this is, you know, has been the change of being creative, After I turned 28, I was just like, you know what, dude, like if I really want to go after this quote quote music career, I gotta go full blown. I can't stop. I can't keep making excuses. I can't be making, you know, can't be pushing off things because I'm scared. And I'll be truthful, guys. I was scared at moments. I was definitely, there's been projects that I've just been, you know, in a panic, or I feel, I think too much about it. It's in my head and I don't know what to do. Like there's moments that I just like, I'll touch a project and I'll nearly finish it and I'll stop it. I'll just stop right in the middle of it just because I'm just so frustrated because it's not getting to that moment. But that's part of the game. That is part of the fucking music game, is that battle with yourself of trying to complete something. Like I feel like no project I've done, I felt like it was truly done. You just have to tell yourself it's done. And so that is something I'm wanting to work on more when in my 28th year. I really want to work on kind of putting things at a close. Once you get to a point that you're like, hey, I think I'm good. I think it's done. I think it's not perfect, and things will never get perfect. And that's the thing I gotta realize too is that no project's perfect. Usually it's funny. You just read articles or you just do you listen to interviews of artists, and they tell you that interviewer always asks, "How do you know a successful song it is?" And most of the time they say they don't know. They were in the studio and they felt that emotion, and then they just, they performed it or they composed it and stuff like that. So, I would say most of my songs that the ones that, um, like I don't overthink it, they become one of the best by far. Everybody likes, but the ones that I critically think and just analytically think of it, it becomes a disaster because it's too complex. And for me, I don't want the stuff that I put out. It just depends on the project, man. It's like me for I don't I love I love dance music, and there's certain genres that are just they're so great and simple, and I love that. But dude, I do love that complicity of certain genres. Like I would say dubstep. I'm a big fan of the sound design in dubstep. Like the dubstep producers are crazy sound designers. They're just like they're amazing. They'll grab a fucking line, you know, roar and make it a fucking lead, which is insane. But I think that's where I battle myself. I'm like, do I really want to go too sound designy, or if that's a word, or do I want to go more basic? And so that sometimes I get in a battle with myself in the studio with that. Um, but that's the thing. It's part of the game. It's literally part of the game. It's, but you're battling yourself. You're not battling anybody. That's what's so great about being independent. You're just, you know, you're, it's on you. If you don't make it, it's on you. You have no one to blame for, nobody, it's you. And that's the hard part to realize. It's you, you have full control, but it's also you're the only one in control, right? Like what I mean is you have all the control of everything, right? Distribution, how everything looks and all that stuff, but you're also on your own. You know what I mean? Like so you have to do all the jobs that you might hate, marketing, advertising, fucking, you name it, everything that revolves around your projects. So that could be very, very stressful as well. And I feel like not a lot of people feel like we don't talk so much about the stress level of that. You know what I mean? It's just like we always talk about the success. And for me, it's great to hear the success, but I don't know. I love hearing stories of where was the breaking point? Where was that moment that you were like, fuck, I don't know if I'll make it? Like that is my interest. Like any artist I interview, I ask them that question, like, what's been the hardest thing that you had to go through for your, for your project? And because it's just, I feel like people can relate more with that than they can with success. And it's true, especially in the music game, it's like what, 1% of a million, if that, I think more, um, make it in the big leagues. And so it's like, that's the tough part to come in realization is that not all of us are going to make it, but when you did make it, what was the rough moments that got you through to where you were at? You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I think would help people tremendously of, more in the mental state, because it's hard, man. It's definitely, I would say my 27s were fucking hard. It was really hard to kind of mentally get myself through it, through certain projects, and yeah, man, it was just really, I was really depressed in moments. Like, I would just not want to touch my laptop. I would The only thing that would actually help me out was taking my dog out for walks. I love that. That was part of my favorite things to do. I would say till this day too. Like, I would do that a couple times. I would I would put my phone down, and I wouldn't even put my earbuds, and I would just observe what my dog Babe would do. Like, she would sniff like a flower, and she would just enjoy the shit out of it. And it sounds so weird, but when you look at it, it's weird. It's almost like I envy her enjoyment of that flower, how simple it is. But in her nose or in her senses, that was just such a, like, it was so interesting to her. And that thing, man, I think that's such a nice thing to have, is that something that can distract you or, get you out of your funk. You know what I mean? And I love doing that. I love taking walks with Babe and just going to the park. Most of the time I do put my earbuds, I'll listen to my podcasts and all that stuff. And, um, but you know what? Lately I've been kind of, putting the phone down, not putting the earbuds, and trying to like enjoy your surroundings, because you just never know. You fucking never know when that'll be the last breath, when that'll be the last, moment you walk your dog. It's crazy, man. I think this year definitely was a test of mental and emotional thoughts. Like, I think a lot of people can relate to this. Is like COVID was a fucking shit show for everybody. It was like people were going to the top, and all of a sudden, gate closes. Sorry, motherfucker, you can't come in. You just, and it sucks because a lot of people, they have never came back up to that hill. They're still, and I'm one of those guys. It was a really struggle. I think I crawled back up where I'm at. Like, right now, I finally feel like being productive. And it's weird because I had sessions, a couple weeks ago, and, before my birthday, and I still felt like I wasn't productive enough, and it's just something that you gotta go through. I gotta probably go through that. I gotta kind of maybe see some professionals about it and be like, talk to them about it. Like, why do I not feel satisfied, And it's just, these are questions that are good to ask yourself, and ask others and see their guidance. Like, for me, I love to talk to my siblings. I love to talk to my mom. Shit, I like to talk to my wife. It's amazing. It's amazing to get other people's insights, especially when you're stuck in your head, right? I can't imagine. That's what I now fully understand what cabin fever is. It's insane. Like, even though I'm not like I'm not in a bad fucking place or anything like that. Location wise, I can go and the beach is like 10 minutes away of driving. It's not too far, but sometimes when you get stuck in like an apartment, especially if you live in a small apartment, um, you can get in your head easily. And especially if it's quiet, that's the scary part about it, being in an apartment and just being stuck and, making music and stuff. Like, I think music was a distraction, but I couldn't even get myself to that. So imagine that. Like, that one thing that got you from being distracted is now gone. You can't get to that now because, you know, you're fucked up in the head. Yeah, that was what I was at some moments. It was weird. It was on and off. Like I would have several months and then I'll have a really good month. And then I'll go back to it. And it just, you know, it's rough. And for me, I like this. This is like good outlet because I can share my my experience, and I hopefully you can relate too, because I know a lot of artists can relate as well. A lot of producers can relate, because you know it's a lonely fucking gig, man. It's a lonely gig in the beginning, till you meet people, like-minded people, and but till then you're on your own. And, you know, us music producers, we're in the fucking on our laptops or in our computers all fucking day long, learning how to fucking compress a snare. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, and it's kind of weird. I wish I kind of, I feel like now I'm more, the more that I do music each year, the less, I don't want to say the less creative I get, but there's always my go-tos, especially when it comes to like mixing and certain production stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put this, and this, you know, and it works out. But I kind of wish I would get more, you know, be a little bit more risky, if that makes sense. Like, push the limit. Let's try to fucking record some, you know, dog toys and see how, if you can, you know, make something out of it. To watch this full video, go down to the link below to my Patreon, where you can watch this video and other content ad-free, and it's only $1. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.